Hello. Welcome to another episode of Millennium Live. I'm very happy to be here with one of our awesome sponsors. We have the team from Awardco. Awardco's all-in-one employee recognition platform makes recognizing and rewarding employees easier than ever, and I'm excited to learn more. We have Eric Hunt. She's the enterprise account executive at Awardco, and we have Malachi Hopewate. He's the head of client education at Awardco. Please welcome the both of them right now, guys. Thanks for joining us on Millennium Live.
Yeah, of course. We're excited.
Thanks for having us.
Great. So let's jump right into the questions. So, there's a lot of talk about recognizing employees and awards programs that's making it easier and more attractive for employers to hire employees. So, what makes Awardco different from other employee recognition solutions out there, and for what employers are looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. Awardco, there's a couple of different levels of what sets us apart specifically. I'm going to go into a couple of those high level, but one of the funnest ones that employees really are responsive to is our relationship with Amazon Business. So we actually have an established partnership here, had it for the last several years. We're on their partnership page, and it's been fun to have that kind of start evolving and to allow us to work alongside Amazon Business in making these recognition programs more impactful. How do we utilize our system and technology to offer a lot of different redemption options to employees that are receiving some sort of monetary award. So that's one. But alongside that, returning that partnership and that program piece back to admins and back to the company for in a budgetary way. We don't do any kind of product markup or shipping costs on the redemption options that we offer, which is extremely unique in this space as a whole. That's been a piece of recognition for a long time. It's just part of how recognition companies arrange their business models, but it was a piece that Awardco felt was really important to eliminate from that space. How do we help our clients, regardless of the economic standing, reallocate their dollars and budget in a better way? So that's definitely one piece. Now, I would say the biggest differentiator by far is just the collaborative approach that we take with our clients. We have a very streamlined process where Awardco stays very technology driven. We're in this recognition world and space, day in and day out. We're the subject matter experts here, and it's a consulting service that we provide to our clients, again, on a very individual basis. We don't do anything product fulfillment related as from an employee redemption perspective. We let Amazon do that. We let our other partners do that along that redemption realm, branded merchandise, gift cards. We have established partnerships to handle what they do best. And then we took the technology route and making sure that we can integrate where we need to, and having a lot of ways to access recognition that's easy for employees. That, again, I felt it was a big piece that was being missed, and by far the top feedback that we've received from clients early on.
That's great. And we're going to talk all about that, especially the Amazon Business Partnership. Before we do, what role does employee recognition play in an HR leader's toolkit? Very, very important right now, especially. So what role does this play?
I'll take a first out of this question, then Malachi, please add anything. But when you're looking at the HR role, what we want to do is provide more resources in their toolkit. How do they make more of an impactful workforce? And they're kind of behind the culture building of this, right? They're behind the change management of, regardless of what's going on inside the workforce as things are evolving and changing inside and internally. How do you create a culture that's strong enough that those changes seem a little bit more minute? So it's kind of like that carrot that you can provide to HR to dangle in front of those employees as the motivation. Again, one of the Awardco focal points is, how do you curate a recognition culture where you have your standard programs, but the service awards, the spot recognition, maybe an onboarding, but how do you now think outside the box? Getting into more life events outside the workforce, safety and wellness initiatives. How do you get into maybe the benefits and compensation world? So what this is just a big resource to make HR's lives a little bit easier in creating that motivational workforce, having a strong culture where, again, regardless of what's going on inside or outside, that people feel comfortable and confident when they are at work. They have this mindset of, this is my career and this is where I feel like it's kind of like a second home, and providing HR with those resources. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Malcolm.
Yeah, I'll add 2 cents in terms of change management. A lot of times, these companies can experience either a merger or an acquisition, things like that, or maybe they're trying to tackle the ever elusive hybrid workforce conundrum that most are going through right now. The company that the platform that we've created helps to really smooth out the hard edges and the jolting of those transitions, right? Because it's a piece of software and it can reach all those people in different places, you can continue to offer that same culture and same feel across the board for all your employees, welcome new employees if it was a merger acquisition, or keep an honest pulse on those who are now working hybrid from home. It brings a lot of peace of mind to an HR admin to know that, I have the actual pulse on my people. I know what they're needing. I know what we can do to offer them these experiences that will keep them engaged and keep them involved.
Well, that's really interesting. And both points that you, Erica and Malachi, mentioned. So I want to get into this about the challenges, especially with, what's gone on the last few years, with COVID and now adjusting the workforce. What are some of the greatest challenges you're seeing in the HR space today as a maybe in general, but even so more so as it pertains to the challenges that maybe the new era of work has brought?
I'll just follow suit with where I was just at, right? Along with the hybrid workforce and that conundrum, we also have the generational change, right? We're moving into having younger people at work who are, they're looking for different options in terms of their benefits. It's not just the 401k match and, insurance like it used to be. It's now, how do I feel while I'm at work? What opportunities does my workplace offer for mental health, for wellness, for things like that, right? And with the platform, we're able to offer a simple tool that's robust enough and strong enough to help, again, smoothen the edges in terms of these are the offerings that we provide you. And it's so dynamic that, your employees can use it as well. I mean, with the opportunity to redeem gifts and things like that for whatever they need, right? If I'm a father working from home, maybe I'm buying diapers with my points, or if I'm younger and I just need some sun, maybe I'm redeeming for a ticket to Arizona or something like that. Who knows, right? But again, the challenges that we're seeing in terms of transitioning from hybrid workspace, from different generations to all those different things, it's really being smoothed out by our product.
I would maybe add to that too, again, a couple different levels that we see a lot of HR trying to piecemeal things together, the generational gaps, the hybrid versus in-office work, but then also globally. A lot of our global clients are coming from systems where it's really broken out. Different countries or even different departments are just kind of doing their own thing. There's not a lot of structure or initiative behind it. So it feels really, disconnected. Employees that are in different countries, I don't know how connected they feel to the corporate headquarters side of things, where it's really valuable and a valuable approach to have both aspects, right? It's really important and valuable to have department specific or location specific programs and capabilities, but then still have an umbrella approach and an overarching program where, it is the same across the board. That is what's going to unify and bridge the gap between, whether it be, again, home or office work, but then also just distance globally as well.
Both of you bring up really good points, and maybe more executives have to be aware of that as the new generation comes into the workforce, that they are looking for different things, and it's not a one size fits all anymore. It's how do you cater to what the employees' needs are. So what are Awardco's most popular offerings?
I would say that there's a pretty standard base foundation that most, if not all of our clients utilize to some extent in terms of program capability. So the most common and popular offerings that are utilized are the service anniversary piece. Birthdays are also very common. And then a manager to peer-to-peer, some sort of social component. That, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, but that's what you think of very much inside the box. When you think of the words rewards and recognition, those are generally going to be the programs that come up in mind. So I would say those are by far most popular. However, our clients have also gotten extremely creative in different ways to use our platform, different redemption options that they can add in. Because of the configuration of it, you're able to add programs like life events. Congratulations on having a baby, on getting married, on buying a house, and having more of a formalized work environment to be able to distribute those. Being able to say, okay, hey, we have certain charities that we support that we want to add in as redemption options. Within Awardco, we have a colleague who is a baker on the side. He creates really good cookie dough. So we added his little business as like a redemption offering, which is kind of fun. But in its core, like our most common and popular offerings are those that are, what you would typically think of when you hear the words rewards and recognition. And then obviously, the Amazon piece is where people are always really excited to jump into from a redemption component. But it's fun to see the creativity that our clients are starting to utilize our system for once they get used to the functionality of it.
That's awesome. I wouldn't even have thought of that. So that's really cool. And so let's dive into the partnership with Amazon Business. What is the Awardco's partnership, and how is it working?
Yeah. So what it is, so Awardco and Amazon, we've established an official partnership. I think it was established back in 2014 or 2015. Basically, in its core essence, what it is Awardco is the technology behind like the functionality, automation, and integration behind these recognition programs, the strategy, the consulting. Amazon's the fulfillment. So again, how it works and with this partnership, kind of how it evolved is when Awardco first came to be, our CEO and his cousin who kind of built Awardco from the ground up, and it's very, early stages, they reached out to Amazon saying this would be a really good idea. Well, they were a small fish, trying to get after a big fish essentially. And it was rather cute of them to reach out to an Amazon being, 5 employees at the time saying, hey, let's establish a partnership. So naturally Amazon was like, okay, cute, but no. So anyway, we got access to their public API. We started building the recognition program and fulfilling orders manually. Amazon then reached out to us after a few years and said, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, we see a lot of traction from you guys. Ironically, at the time, how it happened is you had to set up a different account, but when a lot of money is populating through an account, all those accounts kept getting shut down due to like fraud concerns. So they reached out to us, they invited our CEO out on headquarters, and they said, let's figure out a partnership. That partnership was then again established around that 2014, 15 timeframe. We kind of courted through the next 4 years, and then we became more official partners in 2018, meaning that our business initiatives aligned. We wanted to remove the markup and shipping component. Amazon liked the direction that we were going, and again, where we were heading was very, very much in sync. Amazon's really funny in the sense that they're so big, but they very much have a startup mentality still. Everything's very scrappy, which we are also a startup. So again, it worked really well and it aligned. So official partner. They, like I said, handle the fulfillment. They do what they do best on a global scale. We kind of handle and manage what we do best, and then, shooting for the stars together. That's
great. I love that.
Yes. You could probably guess that it's beneficial for us to have a partnership with Amazon, but it probably goes without saying, but we like the fact that where Amazon expands to, so do we. So in terms of global offerings, right, when we want to offer their catalog to somebody in India, for example, we can.
I'm sure that first of all, that's a great story. You always hear the stories too, like, reached out first, it was a no, it was a rejection. And then you come back or did they come back to Awardco and say, we're very interested now in forming a partnership?
Well, and at first, I think they had our CEO and his cousin. I think they asked them, like, write an essay on why you think we should partner. Like, it was just kind of like, here, be busy with this and stop reaching out for a little while. It was kind of sad to say the least. But yeah, and then again, once they saw all these accounts being shut down, and I think our CEO is pretty persistent and like, hey, listen, look at all the business we're pushing through. We're getting really big clients early on at the time, and they did end up reaching back out to us, and then, like I said, invited us out on headquarters to collaborate a little bit more closely.
That's really cool. So what are some of the unique ways that you've seen your clients use the Awardco platform?
Yeah, our clients are amazing, and we've loved seeing the creativity that they've come up with in terms of how they use our platform. Recently, based on the pandemic, one use case was one of our clients, they used it to create a custom catalog where all of the options that were redeemable were for putting your office together at home, right? It was wet wipes and hand sanitizer if you needed. It was enough points for a new chair maybe that you needed at home, a backlight, whatever it was that would help you make the transition from what we knew was normal work to then a pandemic work life. And then on the back end, now that we're hopefully, the knock on wood, coming out of the pandemic, right, we're having that transition back to the workplace, and more catalogs are coming out that are custom in order to get back into the normal life again. So, I mean, in terms of what the capabilities are, the creativity is your limit, and we've loved seeing what our clients can do with our platform.
Yeah, there's been a few others that come to my mind as well. Significant life events, I think I mentioned it earlier. It's fun to see different programs and initiatives that people want there to just be some, again, work-related formal way to say congratulations, whether it's, again, inside or outside of the workforce, which is fun. Others around survey completion incentives. Hey, if you complete the survey, you know, having people fill out anything or doing anything other than like what they know that they need to come to work to do, that's tricky. Well, sometimes. Yeah. I'd say most often. And they want high engagement on some of those surveys, you know, if they're best places to work or something. You want people to be engaged with that, because if you, again, have a strong recognition culture or just a strong culture period, you want to start getting acknowledged for that. But in order to get acknowledged for that, you need high participation rates in like the information gathering process. So we've had some clients do like, survey completion incentives, wellness incentives for just fun little wellness challenges that go by. Last year, we had a client that wanted to do, we have like these custom bonus boxes is what we call them, but they wanted to send out a box to everybody on Cinco de Mayo. So we helped them brand like a little jar of salsa, some chips, some treats. And then we populated, I think it was, close to 1,000 or 1,200 boxes that we then shipped out to all their employees at their homes. So again, just fun little nuances and ways that help build employee morale throughout the year.
That sounds so cool. And this is just something that you wouldn't have thought of 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So I'm glad we're doing this now. And so, and when we talk about recognition, usually it's the service awards. It's, okay, you've been here 5 years. Congratulations. Here's a little social post and a little bump in salary. But, what are some other programs that you'd recommend employers as just more of a balanced approach of how to handle recognition in the workforce today? I know we've been talking a lot about it, but what's a balanced approach?
So coming from the enterprise space specifically, and more of like that consultative lens, generally what we're going to advise is have the service anniversaries, but the increase in frequency and when those anniversaries are distributed is huge. I just barely hit my 5-year anniversary here at Awardco in February. What we see as a good best practice is more consistency along that service anniversary, workflow. How do we get people onboarded? First day of hire, hey, welcome to the team. Here's an incentive. Go spend it on some branded merchandise and have that specific workflow. Maybe a 30, 60, 90-day boost of just congratulations, you're doing a great job. It ramps up to a 1-year anniversary. That 1 year, especially for a younger workforce, is huge. So many people are looking for the next best opportunity. So that alone, like along the service anniversary workflow, is very valuable. Then doing like a 3-year at minimum, and then going into those 5-year increments, which were expected. Here at Awardco and some of our best performing clients, we acknowledge every single anniversary year, both monetary and non-monetary, but there's still at least acknowledgement that's going out all the time. In addition to that, I would say that, again, a strong recognition culture is going to have the day-to-day initiatives, the manager to peer, peer-to-peer, where managers and supervisors, they don't always have their ears and eyes on the floor. So it's important to be able to have that consistent social culture where other people can say, hey, thank you so much for doing X, Y, and Z. You have that cross-departmental recognition, and managers get those notifications to see how their team is performing when they can't always be there to witness it.
Absolutely. And I feel like this is very important to acknowledge, especially in the younger workforce. Recognition is key, and if you're doing it 6 months rather than every 2 years, then you have a much higher chance of employees being happier and more willing to work harder and willing to stay. So, yeah. So this is really cool. I mean, we talked a little bit about like how this wouldn't even have been a thought, 10 years ago, but where do you see this going now? Like where do you see Awardco and the programs that you're creating in the industry in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years time from now?
I love that you asked that question. I'm going to chime in here. right right now, as Erica has talked a lot about what was happening maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and what's happening now. And we believe it's a good band-aid in terms of taking a big step towards the right direction. As we move farther into the future, we hope that we start to be able to leverage the platform and its capabilities as a change management tool. So, Erica was mentioning peer-to-peer programs and manager-to-peer programs. Peer-to-peer is your recognizing what your coworkers are doing and letting them all see it on the social feed. What that does is it enables managers to not feel so much pressure in terms of, I've got to watch all 100 of my people in success or in sales or whatever it is and pick out the things that I see every single day. They'd spend lots of time on the program if that was the case. But also with managers, right? When let's say that you're a young startup company like we are, when you're trying to train managers, one of the really easy tools that you can equip them with is how to recognize, because guess what? Recognition and feedback, they're two sides of the same coin, right? Feedback shouldn't be once every 6 months or once every year or once every 2 years either. So if I'm recognizing the good, I'm also finding ways that maybe I might coach my employees on how to improve as well. And this tool, by just by using it for its purpose, will help you and enable you to start thinking more about, how do I train my people? How do I help them, right? And maybe your managers who aren't very good at recognizing it a little bit better because they've got a budget and they need to get rid of that budget, because the experience is what's most important. If I don't get my budget out, my people don't redeem. If they're not redeeming, they're not having that experience that it ties the warm, fuzzy feelings to their company that they're working for. So, as we use our platform from now and moving in 5 years, 10 years into the future, we hope that people start using this as part of their people strategy. Not just in terms of redemption and satisfaction, but in terms of change management, talent development, even using these types of programs to help with those initiatives as well.
And managers do need to continue to learn as well in order to give proper feedback, give proper recognition when it's due, and continue to build those relationships. And this has been really interesting. I'm really enjoying listening to the very cool things that Awardco is doing, and especially being such a young company still and just getting growing and growing. What sort of thought leadership does Awardco offer that, say, some other companies in this recognition space aren't?
This is a good question, and I'm going to start, and then Erica can follow as well. In terms of thought leadership is one of those buzzwords, right? Sometimes it means I said it first, therefore I'm the thought leader. And sometimes it means I've done years and years of research, therefore I'm the thought leader. And I will just tell you that Awardco's default is we're not sharing anything that isn't true. So as we learn, right, we're gathering our metrics from our clients on a daily basis. We have data teams in almost every department of our team that's working on those metrics and being able to start saying, okay, these things correlate. For example, we have tons and tons of marketing material out on the correlations between recognition and employee satisfaction, recognition and employee engagement, NPS scores, and ROI, right? The quality or the quantitative metrics that almost every C-suite is looking for, right? In terms of, is our business growing because of the investment that we've made in this tool? But honestly, as we get more and more into the change management side of things, and we start sharing that information that comes, a lot of the thought leadership that you're going to see is in terms of how to recognize the right way, right? And what the depth of how to looks like, right? There's no one silver bullet. We're going to get customized in terms of what industry are you in? What are the projections for your specific industry, and how do we leverage recognition as a whole and with its individual parts to help you in your specific industry, to retain your employees, to keep them satisfied, to keep them honestly as advocates for your company who stay along a lot longer than they might have without these types of things. So again, in the future, we hope that change management is kind of our barking tool, but right now, what you can expect, hop on our site, and check out the stuff that we've already put together. I know I'm advertising here, but what you see again, it's all true. We're not pushing any metrics farther than they belong. It's a lot of correlation instead of causation. So look for that stuff.
Well, this has been a great conversation. And I do have one final question. It's kind of interesting because talking about, you know, being in the workforce, being recognized, using these tools to help retention and helping happy employees are ambassadors, as you mentioned, Malachi. So what has working for Awardco been like for you? Let's talk about Awardco and working there. So I'm sure you both have interesting answers, and maybe even mention how long you've been with the company. But what's it been like working for Awardco?
Because I love it. Well, I'm sure Malachi loves it here too, but I do I love it here. I've been at Awardco for just over 5 years. So I hit my 5-year anniversary in February. Had someone told me 5 or 10 years ago, 6 years ago, that I would be working like in sales at a tech company, it would have been like hysterical. I came from like the dance world. I came from other jobs where recognition really wasn't a thing, but I'm very much of like a words of affirmation person, like in all things. I need that constant validation and encouragement, and Awardco practices what we preach. Extensively. We use our Slack integration, and the number of Slacks that come in just around like people recognizing internally. Like you'd think that we'd have tens of thousands of employees with how many recognitions come in on a day-to-day basis, but it's awesome. And that energy is contagious. I work on the sales floor, and sales is competitive. Sales is hard. I'm a mom of 2. So this is, again, a world that never I would have thought of being in. But I also it makes sense to me. The concept of this makes sense. I never had any kind of sales training or sales background, but this job is so it's invigorating because I get so passionate about here's why you need to do it. I personally and firsthand have seen what it's like working for a company where this doesn't exist versus being here where we hyper recognize. And it's been so fun. I've instantly coming in again. I was definitely one of the earlier employees. We didn't really have a lot of formal processes. We were extremely scrappy, but to see how we've evolved, it's exciting. So anyway, my time here it's been phenomenal. My husband also works in the tech industry, and he always gets jealous, your position and how you started at Awardco is it's what I've dreamed of. And again, I kind of just got thrown into it. Ironically, things align, but it's been so fun. And again, I'm kind of a here for lifer. I never imagined working this much and in the sales world, but I think I'm here for good.
Very nice. What about you, Malachi?
Yeah. My tenure isn't as long nor full of wisdom as Erica's is. I've only been here for about just over a year. But if I had to sum up my experience, it's just been really organic. You can imagine that at somewhere like Awardco, that it'd be really easy for someone to get up and pound the proverbial pulpit and say, you need to do this, you need to do this. But as I've more observed rather than participated, I've seen so much that just comes really organically. If you give your workforce the ability and the space to recognize one another, they'll do it. And what I love about every initiative that happens here at Awardco is when Steve, our CEO, gets up and he talks about a new initiative, you see the organic growth and how everybody gets behind it, right? I'm one of those people who, like most, I like integrity in my work. And so if I was selling a product that I didn't stand behind, I'd have a really hard time. And again, based on that organic approach to things, this is just a no-brainer. This is how we should treat people. This is how it's supposed to be. So helping others and enabling others to do it this way so that they can reap the rewards of happy, satisfied, employees. It's the easiest job in the world. And like Erica, my wagon's hitched. I'm a for lifer as well.
That's so interesting to hear. 5 years and just over one, you have the same mentality, and it's great to hear. Congratulations, by the way. And just to be in a company that's making recognition very simple and to provide value for employers and employees, that is something to be very proud of. And I'm very happy to have this conversation with you Erica and Malachi. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining Millennium Live. I'm excited to have our audience listen to this and all the great things that's happening at Awardco. And if you guys are lifers, I want to do this. I want an update. I want another episode later in the future so we can continue this conversation. But thanks again, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.